Hello again. I'm back. So for this episode of WordPress Wednesday, I'll be going over my favorite way to create custom post types and custom fields. And then be sure to stay tuned for the next video because that one will be the way that I kind of style and design the pages or layouts for those custom posts. So let's get into it. So what I typically use is the Advanced Custom Fields plugin. There is a pro version, but generally this version kind of gives me everything I need. But you'll probably hear me say that a lot of my videos. I don't usually need premium or pro versions of a lot of things. There will be some that you'll eventually see, but for advanced custom fields, this regular version is usually good enough for me. Once you have it installed, you're gonna want to come over here and look for it in your menu. It's generally toward the bottom, and it's abbreviated ACF. So once the plugin loads, it'll have some details up at the top, which if you scroll down, you see this bar here goes away. But you're able to do field groups, which are the fields that you can use to input information into your post. You can create various post types. So for instance, for mine, I have graphics, small businesses, and for my WordPress Wednesday post, so that they can be different and they can be separated from the general post on the website. And then this here taxonomy is just pretty much if you want to add specific categories to that specific post type. So the first thing we'll do, we'll look at creating a new post type. So for a lot of clients that I've worked with, one of the post types that they typically need or want is for their staff or for their team. So generally, we just name it staff. And of course, that'll work for singular or plural. It'll automatically generate the slug here, but of course, you can put whatever you want to go there, but I'm going to leave it as staff. Right now, there aren't any categories that I currently have in any of my posts that I want to also link to staff. So I'm gonna leave that blank, and we'll create some. We'll create some later. So we do want this to be public because if someone searches it, or we want the information to be visible to users. So we're gonna keep this for public. For hierarchical, I don't want mine to be hierarchical, so that means like it can be a parent post or a child post. I don't really need that to be active on this post type. I do love to hit this advanced configuration toggle here, just because I'm a little bit extra sometimes with the way I want it to be displayed over here in my menu. So I'm gonna leave all of this as it is. All of these details are good. I don't typically put a description just because usually the title of the post is self-explanatory. If it's not, then of course feel free to put this in here if you're kind of building this out for a client and they need a little bit of extra detail. So when I come over here, generally all of this is already set up for you, at least the fields that are most relevant, that go ahead and replace that general post type keyword with whatever your post type word is. So staff is already kind of populated throughout here. So I'm gonna leave this tab alone. The next tab that I usually come to this advanced section for is visibility. And again, that's the way that it's gonna show up over here in my menu. So I would leave both of these on because I do want them to show up when I'm in the menu. And then I do also want them to show up when I'm in the dashboard, looking at looking at the general details of my post. I'll show you what that means in a second. This I leave here, admin menu parent. That can generally be left blank. I typically leave it blank. For me, the menu position doesn't matter, but you can use this to determine where it falls over here in your menu. But for me, I really don't care about that part. I do prefer to select the icon that I want because that's generally what I look for when I'm over here looking for plugins. I look for the icon first to know what I'm clicking on. So for this one, let's see, I'm probably just gonna look for group and then just select something that has multiple people so that it's obvious that it's for the staff. I'm going to go ahead and save my changes. And after it saves, you should see it populate over here in the menu. If you want, you can click on it just to kind of see, you know, it looks just the same as if you were creating a post or a page. So let's go back to advanced custom fields. And next what we're gonna do, we have our post type, which is staff. Now we're going to want to add some specific fields. So you'll go here to field groups. And what that is, that allows you to, I'll open it in a new tab so you can see. But what that does, that allows you to create the different fields inside of here so that you'll have more than just the title, the description, and then a featured image. You'll have additional fields. So let's go ahead and dive into those. So we're gonna wanna do add new. And I'm going to name it staff field group. And there are multiple options here in this drop down. So far I haven't seen a limit on how many fields you can use. I've used at least 30 in a single group before, so I don't think there's a limit to how many fields you can do. For this one, we're gonna kind of keep it simple. So as you know, we already have a title and a description, a general description section. So what we're gonna wanna add is maybe a text field where they can enter in that staff member's position. It's gonna automatically give you the position here as the slug, which is pretty much the term that you can use to call that field later on when you're styling it. So we're gonna have position. If you wanna make a field required, you'll click on this validation tab and you'll select required. You'll know that it's effective when you see the red asterisk pop up. You'll click add a field to continue to add new fields. We can go through this drop down really quickly. So the different types of fields that are available in this general free version. You have text area. You can populate a number, a range of something. You can put an email field so that it only accepts email addresses when someone is typing something in. You can put a URL so that it only accepts a URL if any data is filled in. You can put a password field. You can do an image. You can also do a file, of course, which is different because it could be a document, it could be a video, not just an image. I have no idea how to say this, but I say YSIG. Correct me if I'm wrong, put it in the chat, the phonetic spelling, but you can use this editor, which is where you get that really big box where you can put in any kind of information. You can put in media, you can put in a gallery, you can put in HTML code, you can put in style code, you can put in JavaScript, you can put anything in that type of editor. I will leave it here so when we go to that to the post, I can show you. So let's give it a title. We're gonna put general. No, we're gonna put additional description. So we'll know that's that field in case anybody doesn't know exactly what that is. We're not gonna make it required. And then let's go ahead and add, let's see, some other popular fields that people want to use when they're doing staff. So a lot of times you do want to do the email. So we're gonna go ahead and do an email field. We're gonna make that one required. And we already have a featured image section on the post, so we're not gonna add an image section. The only other thing that I would say let's add is maybe You know, sometimes they do like a fun fact or something like that. But I would say let's just add their, let's see, we have their position, their email. You know what? Let's add their phone. Almost common sense, right? I don't know why I was drawing a blank on that. And we will make that required. Okay, so typically this wouldn't be the order. So as you can see here, they have these little 6 dots, which generally represent that you can grab something and you can click and drag it. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna move this additional description field to the bottom. And that also will change the way that you see it when you're in that post. Position, email, phone, general description. Now before you are done, once you're done with your fields, you want to be sure to come down here and to check your settings before you save everything. So this little section down here is what determines when or where you see these fields. So right now we want them to show up if the post type that we created is staff. So what we're going to do is leave it as post type. We're going to leave is equal to, and here we're going to search for staff. So that way these fields show up when you're doing a staff post. So now you're going to want to go ahead and save. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is look at the taxonomies, which again is how you want to add categories. So let's click our add new button, and we're going to do staff categories. And of course we're going to do a singular version, and we'll leave that as it is. So here we're going to look for staff because we want these categories to be applied to the staff posts. Everything here, I don't typically hit the advanced configuration here because I already have it looking how I want it to look over here. So from here, I'm going to hit save. This is not where you will put your actual categories. I'll show you that in a moment. So now if we come over here to staff, we have our menu option built out, and we even have our option for our categories. So now let's come here, and we're going to refresh as if we're going to input a staff option. And we still have our title, we still have our general content box. And if you scroll down past some of this SEO information, which it may not show that way on yours if you don't have any SEO plugins installed, you probably won't see all of this SEO information. Here is where you will see the fields that you created. So we have our position, our email, our phone, and our additional description. This is the YSIG box that I was referring to, where you can do you can put a lot in here. It's not specific to just the email or specific to just text. You can put anything you want in this area. So let's go ahead and attempt to create a staff member. So I'm going to use my information, of course. And generally, I'm going to leave this blank because I'm not going to pull this data. When I go to style it, I'm generally going to pull data from whatever my custom fields are. So position, we're going to put web developer. Email, we will put my email in. And for my phone number, I'm going to put information here just to kind of give you all an idea. That's kind of my go-to when I'm not really sure like what to put in, but I know it really doesn't matter. Or if I need temporary text, I don't have the whole script copy it saved on my computer, so I just put this in temporarily. So the next thing we're going to want to do after you get all of this information put in, you're going to want to scroll up to your menu bar on the right, and you're going to want to look for, now of course we haven't entered in any staff categories yet, but you can also use this section here to add categories. So we'll do something like, actually let's be more specific. Instead of putting HR, let's pick human resources. We'll put marketing. We'll put finance. And we'll leave it there for now. So right now, each of these categories are associated with this staff member. Of course, you can click the X to remove either one of those. But once you create them here and you click add, it will be available here in the staff category section, and I'll show you that in a moment. The last thing you're probably going to want to do is to scroll down to your featured image, and you're going to want to click an image to apply to that staff member. I'm just going to put my business card there for now, and we're going to click publish. Now, when we go to look at the live version of it, there's not going to be a whole lot of styling to it because we haven't styled it yet. But that, again, will be in the next video. But let's go ahead and look just to kind of have an idea. Of course, featured images always come up at the top of the post. And then the content itself is usually below. But we're not going to see any of it, again, because we haven't styled this page to pull any of that custom information. But right now, this is typically just to show you how you create a custom post type. The last thing we'll look at is staff categories. So as you can see, the ones that we published on the post have generated here. The human resources and finance didn't roll over because they were not published. But if you do want to add additional categories, when you're over here and you click on your staff option, you'll click on staff categories. And all you really need to do is to just click inside this section of this first field, human resources. You can press enter or you can click add at the bottom. I just press enter and it'll populate right over to the side. And I'll do one for finance just to show you that as well. And it populates right over to the side. Generally, it also shows you how many posts that you have created that match that category. Right now, of course, there's only one for marketing, and that's for the one that we created. If this video helped, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel to stay tuned for more WordPress tips, or at least some of my favorite WordPress tips. If you have any video ideas or any tips that you would like for me to create that can help you with building sites in WordPress, please leave a comment and I'll be sure to create a video for you. Thank you for watching.